Hello, everyone. It's Michele Maher here, and I'm joined with Crystal Leochko this afternoon. Thank you so much, Crystal, for giving me your time to talk about keeping a positive mindset and pivoting in your business and in your life over these last. We're coming up on 7 months now that the world has really changed for us. So so thank you again for joining me, and if you want to give us a few words about who you are and what you are all about.
Okay, yeah, and you are right. The world has changed so much in the last 7 months. It doesn't seem like it was that long. My name is Crystal Leochko, as Michele said. I'm the founder of Bloomis Naturals, so it's a clean line of beauty, aromatherapy, and skincare, all formulated by myself. We sell online a lot into retail stores, gift stores, pharmacies, that kind of thing. As well as I'm a fertility coach and I run Blooming Hopes Fertility. So that kind of ties in with the beauty because $1 from most of our products goes to the fertility charity we started.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is very, very nice.
Yeah. That's how it all kind of ties in everything I do.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so as we were talking before we got on screen, on camera here, everything kind of really changed very quickly as things were shut down. And I know for myself, it was kind of like living in a movie, almost living in a fog at the beginning, because it was hard to believe that this was real. This was really happening. I know for myself back in February, I think it was February, that I went to my supplier and topped up a lot of supplies because she does a lot of the stainless steel components that I use in my jewelry. She brings over from China. The Swarovski crystals and Swarovski pearls get finished and packaged and everything in the factories in China. So she would be dealing directly with them, and of course they were shut down, so therefore she was not getting her orders and so on and so forth. And actually her husband even goes twice a year to physically, he goes over, figure out everything, packs a container, that kind of thing, and hasn't been able to go at all. So that's so anyhow, back in February I went and stocked up to make sure that I had at that point in time, we didn't know how long it was going to be.
You're so lucky you did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Because also back then I was planning to do these, the bracelet making parties where we'd all pick out, everyone would pick out their own stones, the semi-precious stones, decide on what kind of ones you want to use, what charms and things like that, and put a bracelet together. That was the plan. I was going to have those. Of course, that has not been the case because, right after. So I was stocking up to make sure I had all those stones as well. And then, of course, it's, we're not having any in-person events since mid-March. So that got shut down. But in the meantime, I was glad that I did have the, have the supplies to create new pieces and stuff like that. But at that point, still, I didn't think that it was going to come over to us. Still thought that the ocean separating us from Europe, like even when it came into Europe, I thought that, that was enough, that it wasn't going to come over to us.
Yeah, I think I was in that denial too. Yeah, for sure.
As things got shut down, it was like craziness. Again, just so foreign to us and such a loss of control. So I think a lot of people were in a fog those first couple weeks.
Oh, can I just tell you, the first week, I think it was the week March break. So Friday the 13th, it was shutting down. Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
I'll never forget it. And I remember I had a meeting with a new spa. And it was like 4 o'clock on Friday, and we were chatting, and they were talking about like people, you should cancel your March break trips and stuff like that. And I was like driving home, and it was probably like 5:30 because we chatted a lot, and I'm listening to the news, which I never do, but it took over everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, is this real? I kept thinking it was like way overseas, like it wasn't going to touch us. And then I had like sales things planned and events and different things like that. And that week of March break, I guess technically it would have been March break.
Yep.
I was in front of the TV. I was watching like 3 or 4 news channels to like see what was going on because I didn't want to miss something that one of the other ones would have known. And I'm not a news watcher person. So I was like obsessed. I didn't post anything on social media because I felt like it would be too insensitive. I didn't think anybody would want to buy face cream or lip gloss or hand cream at that time because all I kept thinking is everybody's losing their jobs, right? And I remember being in such a trance that like I'd wake up, look at the news, go to bed with like 10 news stations in my head. And I'm in this like actually online kind of mastermind group. And this was probably about almost moving into 2 weeks. And one of the girls said, just post and ask them what they want to see if they want you to post. And so I'm like, I don't know if I can do that because I always think it works for other people, but not me. So I posted something and I got such a huge response. And from that point on, I'm like, okay, I'm not shutting down. I have an online business. I'm going to just like work on that. But it was like crazy. And after that, I shut off the news. I kind of look at the updates and where the numbers are and that kind of thing. But like 5 minutes max. Sometimes I don't even look at it because it just fills your mind and it gets your head like spinning, right? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And that was the same thing for me at the beginning. I was just, watching the news, watching the updates, the provincial update, the federal update to see what the government was doing. And it was like, I think I had, the news on all day in here in my studio. I have a TV over there and I was like, had it on CP24 and it's like, because everything was changing so rapidly. And I think those 2 weeks also felt like so long. It felt like it was 6 months long or something because so much happened. But then I also found that this just, the whole negative, the whole fear and selling fear, that's what the news is all about, is selling the fear and selling, basically selling bad news. And that's, I came to the realization that this really wasn't good for me to be focused on that. Of course, we don't want to focus on that kind of stuff. And at the same time, I felt the same way as you in terms of, posting. What am I going to do? I'm going to post, here I have all these bracelets, you want to get one. I figured nobody has that focus at that point in time because everybody was like in a fog. Yeah. Because we didn't know what was happening. And so that's why I started doing these interviews. And then as I found, because social media was getting so negative too.
Oh my God, yes.
And it was just all bad news, like the grocery store shelves empty and things like that. And then of course, all it does is it's just going to snowball into more fear, more fear, more fear.
Exactly.
And then as we know now, these algorithms with social media will just show you more of what you're looking at.
Exactly.
So that it's more fear. And that's not going to serve anybody.
No,
at all.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I know, like, do you remember like when the toilet paper was out and I was like, what is going on? Like, that was like the last thing on my list. And I'm like, what are people doing? It was just, I couldn't do it. And I remember the first time I went to the grocery store and walking down Fortino's and seeing the empty shelves. And that really, so from that point on, I switched to online ordering because I couldn't deal with it. So, yeah. Yeah,
I found that as well the first time when I did
go very eerie.
The grocery store. And also it just felt that, I don't know, it's like I could feel this heavy energy from everybody. Nobody looked, everybody's like making sure not to make eye contact and just, stay in your space. And if you came too close to somebody, they're like, freaking out. And I remember getting back in the car and feeling so depressed. I felt like, what is happening? What is this? And I just wanted to get back home, back into my studio and, connecting with people on Zoom or whatever, and just not see outside. It was also seeing all the empty streets and the stores shut down and everything like that. It was very eerie, and it just I didn't it was just so weird. It really was.
It was strange. I remember my husband and I would be going for walks every day because we didn't know what else to do. So like 2-hour walks and walking around the neighborhoods, like everybody had like, you don't realize everybody has 2 cars at least, right? So like the driveways were packed and the streets were packed with like families with teenagers, I guess, if there's overflow and stuff, but nobody was out. And then if you'd see somebody walking, they would cross the street and it was like, don't make eye contact or don't, and it was just like such a creepy, eerie feeling. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I stopped watching the news, probably it was April, probably around the beginning of April, or maybe it was around Easter. I'm not sure, but now I don't. And the thing is, before COVID, I used to, when I woke up in the morning, I would turn on CB24 to see what was happening in, what had happened overnight in Toronto, that kind of thing. And since this, since I stopped watching news altogether, I don't turn that on in the morning anymore, because I just didn't want to hear more about COVID. I didn't want to keep hearing COVID all the time. And like you say, I keep updated in terms of what's happening and knowing what I'm responsible for to, to help myself stay safe and everybody else stay safe. But I don't want to be, you just don't want to be wrapped up in that. It's just not good for any of us.
And it sucks you in faster than you know. Like, like all of a sudden you're like, and then you're down a rabbit hole, Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
It's really, yeah. For me, I'm just like.
That also happened on social media as well. There was a lot of judgment, I found. There was a lot of judgment maybe at the beginning, and then it felt like everybody was coming together as a community. And then when they made masks mandatory, then it became a lot of judgment again, and a lot of negativity. And so it's been a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of people as well, because like I said, we never anticipated that it would just keep going. And we're 7 months later, and now, of course, we see the cases rising again and possible restrictions coming back and things like that. So it's really, like initially it was all about when we get back to normal, and now we know that there's no going back to what we were, where we were before.
No. So it's just, I feel like we just have to kind of find like the good new normal, I guess. And I don't like the word new normal, but we have to think of all like the good things. For me, I personally started probably April. I did a yoga challenge, 30-day yoga challenge with a friend. And it was really good because at first you're like, okay, I'm just doing it as part of the challenge, but I still do it. So that was April. I still do the online yoga with, she has stopped doing it now, but I still do it every day. And it just kind of gets your mindset right for the day. And that's one thing. I always thought I never had time. Literally, it's like between 20 and 30 minutes, sometimes even like 15 minutes. And I always said to myself, oh, I don't have time for it. Of course I had time. I had like, you know what I mean? I'd have half an hour to scroll through Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
And I didn't take the time for myself. And I noticed when I do it, it's like, it's such a big mind shift thing, right? So, yeah.
Right.
And just all the time, yeah.
And that's like the thing. And are you doing this, and you're doing this in the morning?
Yeah, I do. I don't do it necessarily exactly when I wake up. I may want to change this, but I was actually thinking about this today. I'll actually like have my coffee, do a couple emails, and get my like head ready for whatever I'm doing today, and get like one of the tasks I don't want to do out of the way, and then I do the yoga. So it's kind of my treat for doing like something I know I have to do, but I don't want to, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
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 So
and
I thought if I do the yoga first and do the thing I don't want to do and then continue to work, it doesn't break up the task. Like for me, putting all my bookkeeping together, I hate that. I hate the paperwork and stuff like that. So I try to do that for 30 minutes. Then I'll go do yoga as a treat, and then I can start my day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And when you talk about how you felt you didn't have the time before to do it, and also just thinking about this whole period of time, especially when we were really shut down and everybody said, oh, I have so much more time. I have so much more time. Fact is, you still have the same 24 hours in the day.
You do.
It's just how you were prioritizing your time and what you were, you were putting as more important than other things. And so you were just pushing that off as being an unimportant thing. And I think what this period has also taught us is that self-care is so important for us. It's we need to take care of ourselves, or we can't even take care of others. Yeah,
exactly. We can't function.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
So now you found this and you're resetting your priorities, and just like a lot of us have found that we, not having to go to networking events in person, you save that driving time, and we can get on Zoom and we can do a networking event online, and you can still meet people, you can still talk to them. It's not the same, of course, as being in person. Yeah. But it'll make, we can make those conscious decisions of what we want to spend our time on, I think, more in a better manner than we used to.
Well, yeah. For me, I think I was doing a ton of networking events, and now I realize I should have been focusing on my online and doing strategies and different things like that for online, because I spent so much time like driving here and there and wherever, right? And was it really necessary? I don't know. I love people and I love socializing, so part of me like kind of misses that. But from a business perspective, probably not necessary. Yeah. So there's that. I did a lot of, like you, vendor events and shows. I don't know if I'll go back to it, because a lot of mine would be, I would have the body butter and they would rub it on their hands. So with the sticks and things like that, or the scent, like how would you like smell it or try the lip gloss on your hand? So those kind of shows and things, I don't know if they're going to be a part of what my business looks like later, because I just don't know if it makes sense from a COVID standpoint. But then I miss getting the reaction when people smell the body butter or when they try the lip gloss on. So you don't get that connection with the person, right? So
right, but maybe there's something new, some other way. Yeah, smaller, absolutely. Little, more exclusive type events where you can, have, as opposed to these big vendor shows, because as both of us know, they're always, a lot of time they're hit and miss. You never know what it's going to be like. And sometimes I know I've been in some shows that all of a sudden I come and there's all these jewelry designers, and there's just, even if everybody's different, for some people, they just see all that and it just in their mind registers as everybody's the same. I'm not even going to bother looking.
Exactly. Or they buy something at the beginning of the show and then they go walk through it because,
Or some of the shows, there's just too many people, there's just too many vendors.
That's what I was finding a lot. At the end of last year, I did a lot. I think I did 62 shows from the middle of October to December. Oh my God. So sometimes 2 a day.
Yeah. And that's, it's just so much work as well.
So much work. And I now see, like, if I would have just focused on my online, I could have, like, you know, your product gets damaged moving it back and forth, and, you know, it's heavy. Like your jewelry is probably heavy, like the bins.
Yep.
The bins are heavy. You're carrying it in and out in the cold usually, and the ice and driving. And now I now think online is going to be a lot more productive. So for me,
right,
I guess I kind of pivoted into like online, which I always was selling online, but more productive use of my time. And I really am cautious of what I'm doing with my time now.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, I don't feel like I have more time now. I just feel like all the time I save now driving from here. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of people have found that, you know, they're going to make such different decisions with their time now, because things that they thought were important or things that they thought were necessary are not necessarily necessary.
Yeah.
And not, you know, not necessarily what they should be spending their time on.
That's right.
There's just a lot of different, you know, like, do you have to go and if you're going to have a coffee with somebody, as before we'd say, oh, let's meet for a coffee, and then take half an hour to drive, and then you go have your coffee and then half an hour to drive back. Now you could just hop on Zoom and have a virtual coffee with somebody. That's and still true. Get to know each other and still get to find out how you can help each other in business, or if you can collaborate or things like that. And it's not, I don't know, is it something that we could do it before, but did we think about doing it that way before? No, not so much. I think we've kind of,
that's right,
you know, shifted our thinking to be more, I don't know, open-minded maybe, I don't know.
Or just, I guess it would be open-minded. I don't know. For me, the coffee dates were always a big no-no.
I know. I learned that after I went to one, and it was just a woman who wanted me to join her business.
Yes, I know. So I'm like the anti coffee date person. Because I just feel like it's just, I don't know, it's just never. And now I've gone to a couple because I think, okay, I should try this. Everybody keeps saying, do coffee dates, do coffee dates, do coffee dates. And then I got stuck, right? So, I guess I always was monitoring my time, I guess. But now you can hop on a Zoom call and kind of get to know the person, right?
Well, at least you're you're not wasting that, you're not wasting that time. And if it ends up, again, you still got to pick and choose, and hopefully people are more transparent with their reasons
to join their team.
Yes. So, but it, there's, just think about how this technology has really helped us during this time, right? Because now that all the people who are running events and conferences are doing them online, and of course figuring out different ways to do it. I know I've attended some of the online conferences, and
have you? Okay.
So everybody's figuring out how to do it, and there's all kinds of technology and different things. Apparently there's even virtual vendor tables and little rooms where people can come and visit you.
Okay.
I haven't actually participated in that as such. I just heard about it from somebody else.
Okay.
So there's the opportunity there to create an environment that's almost the same as if you were there. Of course, it'll never be the same as being there in person.
No.
But just imagine in the winter, you can just join an event like this, and you don't have to worry about driving in the snow.
That would be nice, yeah.
And also you can join events that are global.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
And I know when, I think it was April, everybody was kind of coming online, and so many webinars were being offered and so many workshops, and everybody was free, and everyone was putting out their free content. And I know I got a bit overwhelmed because I was really wanting to sign up for a lot of things that were really
Yeah.
interesting. And I had to kind of step back and think, there's not enough time for me to actually absorb anything or learn anything from this. If I'm just going from workshop or webinar to webinar.
The webinar, and you're not actually doing the steps after. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know with, because I run a fertility support group once a month, I was doing it twice a month in person, one in Mississauga, one in Burlington. So when COVID hit, I'm like, so what we started doing is we were doing online like Zoom calls. Yep. And it turned out awesome because like I have one Wednesday night. But I have people from the US, I have people from like New Brunswick, from Vancouver, Edmonton, like all over the place. So it's kind of cool because we're getting all the different ladies' perspectives, right? And what they're going through. And it's not, before it was not necessarily per clinic, but it was more centralized, right? So a lot of people knew the same doctors and treatments and things.
Okay.
So now, like, we get to hear, like, there's one girl shows up from Chicago. So we get to hear what they're doing different in the US, or Nova Scotia, how that's a lot different, or in Vancouver, right? And what their treatments are and how their naturopaths even act and what supplements, and just, it's really different. And we would never have that opportunity to connect with everybody like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's happened for so many people, just meeting, expanding their businesses global and meeting more people and meeting the people that you can possibly collaborate with, that you wouldn't have met otherwise, because if we had just continued on how we were going, even though the Zoom technology was already here and this whatever different other software, the same thing. We always had FaceTime too, so we could have always connected this way, but it just, we weren't doing that because the focus was in person, or the focus was online in your networking group or something like that. But now it's just really opened up the whole world to everybody being able to
connect.
Basically it's also the whole virus and everything affecting the whole world has shown us how we are all connected. And what we do is so connected with one another, even though we are in different countries and whatever. Exactly.
And then we're arguing about whether we should wear masks, and we're getting angry at people because they're choosing not to, or they're choosing to, or whatever it might be. And that's just like, if anything, I wish people would understand how connected we are, and everybody just live in not harmony, obviously that won't happen, but just respect everybody's point of view, right? And it doesn't seem like
respect.
that.
Yeah, respect and compassion for one another.
Yeah.
And not judging one another. It's not only the mask, it's even judgment for somebody choosing to go out to a restaurant, or choosing to go to a mall, and other people who don't want to do that, and they say, how come you're going there? I don't think you should, and so on. And everybody has their different, their own point of view, and that's fine. Everybody has to do what feels right for themselves and what they're comfortable with, but not be judging others for what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I see some of these Facebook rants and I'm just like, oh my God, it's got to stop, because everybody's going through it. And there's one, it's like a graphic on social media. You may have seen it, but everybody's going through COVID, but we're all going through it in different fish bowls. Some may have a rubber boat, and some might have a big ship that they're comfortable. So we don't know what everybody's COVID situation looks like. So we can't judge. We just have to respect what their choices are, right? Because they're doing what they know is the best for them and their family. And it feels like everybody's opinion should be the one that they should follow.
Yeah, and it's so true because everybody is going through a different situation. Some people are all alone at home and have been all alone at home. And when we were really shut down, it would be very isolating for
I can't imagine.
you know, especially some seniors that are all alone and couldn't even go out anyhow and shouldn't be because of the risk and everything like that. So it was it would have been very isolating. And then on the flip side, then you have the families where everybody's come home and everybody was trying to navigate the physical space of, you know, where are people going to work from home, you know, and for some of us that are entrepreneurs who are already working from home, and then all of a sudden a spouse has come home to work from home. Me too. And it's like, how do you, you know, you're used to having the place to yourself during the day, and all of a sudden somebody, and then they might be on meetings and really loud and, you know, things like that. So
yeah, I dealt with all that.
And then all of a sudden everybody's eating at home 3 meals a day.
Yes, I felt like for the first bit, I'm like, all I'm doing is dishes. And I love cooking, but I felt like all I was doing was dishes. So I was not sick of cooking. I was sick of doing the dishes.
Okay, yeah, for me, I found like it's like what you get tired of coming up with new ideas of what to eat.
Yes, yeah. So since school's been back, what, 3 weeks now, we've been ordering, I don't know, HelloFresh or one of those things, just trying it out. And I like it because at the end of the day, I don't have to think about it. So we used them a few years ago and then we kind of stopped. But like, you get the meal, you don't think about what you're gonna make, you follow the recipe, so you're not like thinking, you just like make it. And they're all pretty tasty. So that's what we've been doing. I don't know how long I'll continue with it. It's been probably about a month now, but yeah, it's been a nice kind of break because I felt like I was making the same things over and over. Even though my husband's like, we didn't think that. And I'm like, I feel like I'm making the same food. Yeah.
Right.
But we used to go to restaurants a lot, or I'd be at a networking event, or we would be dinner with friends. So
exactly,
all of that now, right?
Is gone. Exactly that. So there's been a lot of, you know, but on the flip side, a lot of families have had the chance to connect more because everybody's at home. But I think that, again, going back to, you know, never thinking that we would be here so many months later, and it back to feeling like it's been a roller coaster because, you know, when the restaurants open, patios open, then it was summer, then everyone's all happy because we had a beautiful summer. Look at the weather we had this summer.
Yes, it was gorgeous. We deserve it. We deserve that summer.
For sure. And now, of course, now it's turned freezing. And, you know, pretty cold, pretty early, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Then, you know, with the restaurants and things like that, you can't. I see them all putting out their patio heaters, but you can only do so much for so long, and so it's hard to, you know. So we need to just think, I guess, be innovative and think of new ways of connecting. I know we were doing some Zoom parties with couples, like we had a Zoom dinner party when we were shut down.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah.
It may be something, you know, that we're going to be doing in the winter because it's, you know, depending. So
yeah, you can't sit outside. Well, I wonder what's going to happen with Christmas, right? Like the holidays, are you going to be able to, even Thanksgiving coming up, right? You never know if the numbers increase. My father's 86 and my mom's 70. So it's not like we've been so cautious because Mia's at school, but you never know what this week is going to look like, right? So, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Just even those basic celebrations. Yeah.
Yes. it's hard to believe that, like I say, back in March, the 2 weeks felt like 6 months. April
Yeah.
was slow too, maybe. And then of course, May, I felt like it got quicker. And then the summer just, I don't know, the summer always goes by quick.
And now we're like October.
And now it's October, which is really hard to believe, but
I don't get it.
I know. So in terms of your business, you've really concentrated on the online space and focusing on expanding your funnels and things like that, right?
Yeah. My sales funnels are my mission. Some of my retailers, I didn't reach out to any retailers until, oh God, I reached out and just said, hey, how is everything going? And
were they shut down? Most of them.
I have a lot of pharmacies, so the pharmacies
would have been open. Okay.
Yeah.
But spas, of course, and
yeah, the gift stores were shut down, but I have quite a few gift stores that were like doing care packages for first responders and things. So they were putting my hand cream in there because do you remember in the winter, it's going to start now, when you put hand sanitizer on, your hands are already dry, you need the body butter, you need the hand butter. So she was putting little kits and selling them and then donating them to the first responders.
Right.
So she was ordering constantly, and she came up with like a lot of creative ways to keep her business at the forefront. So that was one store. And then the pharmacy, some of them, they said people would just come in and out for the prescriptions, and it was not busy for like skincare and things. But then I had, say, the Oakville Hospital carries all our stuff at the pharmacy in there. And she kept running out of stuff because the staff mostly would buy it and they were bored walking around. They needed the hand cream and they would shop, right? So when I reached out, I'm like, how's everything? And they're like, oh, we need more stuff. So I was like, oh, I was just thinking everybody had stopped, right? So yeah. Right. But there's some stores that were completely shut down. The spas were another one that really made the shift into a creative way of doing it. So they were doing like little gift bags, or they would put like, say, the foot butter with whatever, and you could do at-home pedicure kits and things. So it was interesting because I work with so many different retailers and how they were just trying to like fight so they can stay alive. And it was really, it brings out the most in your entrepreneurial spirit when times are like this, right? Like, how can you stay relevant?
Yes, it has. It's brought out a lot of creativity for so many people. And yet you've seen some people that have been very silent, and just felt more of victim mentality, thinking that COVID happened, I've been shut down, there's nothing I can do.
Oh my God. I can't. I don't mean to be insensitive, but people with that attitude, I just like delete. I can't deal with it because I think there's always something you can do, right?
Exactly, as you say. But the spas.
Yeah, like the spas. This one gift store, she's completely shut down, and she said to me, she goes, Crystal, my motto is do not be forgotten. Do not be forgotten, no matter how long this takes. Stay relevant. And she was doing like all these creative things. Like she was doing like 30 days of 30 amazing businesses. And she was supporting all these other restaurants and businesses and not even posting about herself, but like people were sharing it. And like, she was coming up with the most brilliant ideas. And I just like really respect that over somebody that just like gives up. I can't do anything. I'm shutting down.
Exactly.
And so,
exactly. And that was so important to stay relevant. Because even for the hair salons that were shut down and people like that can only do work, in person. Yeah. But some of them, you saw them, creating do your own dye at home, like mixing up your color and dropping it off, which is something that my stylist. I did once because I couldn't deal with the roots.
So
I could not put up with it.
My roots were like this long.
Wow.
However, the next time she said, oh, you can just, because she's moving. So she's like, you can just pick up the bottle of dye or whatever. And I'm like, totally going to do that.
So yeah, exactly. But the thing is that with social media, and that's what this time has shown us too, is that you have to be there. You have to be on social media. You have to be online. You have to have a presence. It's more important than ever.
It really is. Yeah.
To, you know, like you say, stay top of mind, even if you were educating, not necessarily, you know, not necessarily making any sales or anything like that, but educating, providing content, people seeing your name. Yes. And that's so that when they do, or as they have reopened, people still, you know, remember who you are, and they haven't forgotten you, and they know that you're still in business, and so on. Because
that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know it's
more important than ever, and just the whole brand
awareness.
Awareness, and creating your own personal brand and everything. Now that everybody's online, it's
yes.
It's
people that weren't online before are on now. So exactly. Yeah.
And also it's very busy online because everybody's online. So you really need to follow a strategy, but like you were saying, just concentrate on a certain strategy, and just, I think more important than anything is consistency, and making sure you're doing something every day to put you closer to your goals.
Exactly. Because all those little steps will add up. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, the shiny ball, you'll be at it, but you'll be like, oh, it's taking so long. It's taking so long. But all those little things I think you do every day will help you get to that thing without you even realizing. It will just all click together. So. Right. Yeah. It probably just takes longer than people want.
Well, that's why they say that, you know, it's like, it's all about patience. You have to be patient, but just not being distracted by the shiny ball, which is is something that that can happen quite often. So this time, you know, really we've had a chance to figure out what's important to ourselves and what our values are, and what's important to, you know, our business, and where we want to focus it. As you're saying, you've you know, gone full into online and focused on creating these sales funnels and things like that, and as a result it's just expanded and grown. And that's, you know, that shows you that it's these consistent efforts, even if it is baby steps, even if it feels like you're never going to get there, you will get there.
No, it sometimes does. It feels like, oh God, like I did a post and like only like 30 people looked at it. What am I doing wrong? You know, but all those little steps, right? And you know how they say it takes what, 7 to 11 to 15 times, I don't know, for somebody to actually trust your brand. So just putting yourself out there all the time really, I think, will make the difference. And it's those little baby steps, right? Yeah.
I mean, even like some of these podcasts that I listen to, where, you know, there's 1 million downloads in a month or something like that, but it all started with 1 or 2 people listening to it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I'm a podcast junkie too.
Oh, I love it. And I've actually listened to, I don't even listen to music in the car anymore now. It's always podcasts.
That is, I'll tell you, the one thing, like usually when I was driving to like events and things like that I was listening. And so because of COVID, I'm not driving as much. So I do miss like driving like that. But in March, I guess, it was March, end of March, beginning of April, even May for Mother's Day. We had so many orders. Like my husband and I would fight to like see who would deliver, and we were offering free delivery at that time in the GTA. So like I would send him out to Toronto, Niagara Falls, Guelph, London, Waterloo. Like we'd be all over fighting just to see who could leave the house to get out.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Because you did.
That was our only time to leave.
True. And you can only. That's the thing that we do miss is getting out. And I miss the events where, you know, you get to meet different people and have conversations, and of course miss hugs and everything like that.
No. Yeah.
But it's really given us the time to figure out some things, and whether it be your business or even just your life, developing new habits, new personal habits. People have been out walking. You said about the yoga practice that you're doing. So it's really, you know, it's been there's a lot of learning, but there's a lot of opportunity here, and
there is,
and, you know, to create something new. So many of the systems have been broken. Like, it's really shown the systems that are broken and where we need to create something new.
Yeah, I think it's like a benefit. Like, I think it is a huge opportunity. Yeah, we just have to kind of adjust. I will miss hugging, though. I'm a hugger, so I don't know.
Yeah,
right, but that's gone.
Yeah. But it's again, I've seen so many collaborations coming together as well, and people, you know, helping one another and supporting one another, and all the supporting local business and things like that. So
I do. I love that. I love all the support local, support small business. We all stick together. I think I know even in March, April, I noticed some of my like packaging, like the jars and things, were starting to be out of stock. Even some stuff is still out of stock. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? And I was all set so Bloomis is all teal, of course. So I was all set to buy these like really pretty frosted teal jars from China. And now it's shut down. I don't know if I'll get them. If they go under lockdown, like, will they ship? So I totally switched, and I'm buying jars from Canada, and they're not as pretty, but they're here. They're local. I'm supporting Canadians getting jobs and like surviving. And I think, to me right now, that's the most important thing I can do. So yeah, it's crazy. It's like, I was all set. They're going to be gorgeous, but I'm like, okay, I have a choice, and I could risk ordering them and them not come, right? So
yeah. And now you're supporting another Canadian business, and I think that just that alone is worth it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of my new customers since COVID have said, like, oh, we want to support you because you're local. We want to support you because we want to support Ontario. We want to support a Canadian company. Yeah, so that is really nice when they put those like little messages on with their order. And yeah, that means a lot, because you know people are coming together, right? Yeah.
Right.
And you're tracking kind of the right customer for you. For me anyways, I want people that think like that. So
exactly. Definitely. I totally agree. So thank you so much for being a guest on my show.
Thank
and
you
for your time today.
Congratulations on 100 episodes.
Yes. So you're number 101.
I think that's amazing.
I will put your information up underneath your Bloomis website, so everyone can know where to find your products.
Excellent.
I look forward to when we can see each other in person again.
I know, right?
And
thank you.
I wish you all the success, and stay safe and healthy. And thank you for joining.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you so much for your time and having me, Michele.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.